Great. We will call to order our meeting of the Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees for Tuesday, March 12th. And just the three of us tonight. We will begin with a review and approval of the minutes of February 12th.
They were pretty short. I move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't here. Pay the bills.
There's only one, the Grandview, I assume, is our yearly to the cemetery. Yep.
So all those Fairpoint bills are for real now, right? Fairpoint's who we do?
Yeah, they are. We're just having still a little trouble with the firehouse.
Okay.
But Ed and I...
You're taking care of that. Good. Norm, you think that'll be the end of our salt?
Depends on which one you're looking at.
Oh, well, looks like, well, you have salt and then you have Cargill, right?
What's that?
You have American Salt and then Cargill?
American Rock.
Well, it says American Salt here, but yeah, okay. The last one, well, I don't know when it was, but it wasn't too long ago.
1490.
Yeah, I gotta look up. And then when we get that sheet out, I can tell you. And it's something I want to talk about in my report anyway, so if you'd like to...
Okay, yeah, let's wait.
We can do that.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move we accept the warrant as presented.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Payroll warrant.
It's pretty straightforward. I'll move to accept the payroll warrant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Use that pen a moment. Mine just, what happens when you grab something at home and think it's going to work. Citizens' comments being none, we will move to highway facilities. Norm?
Okay. Give me just a second. Well, actually, we shouldn't have a Cargill. We should have two American Salt.
Earlier on, there's a Cargill.
Yes, earlier this year.
Well, on this warrant.
Yeah, it's on the first page.
Middle of the page.
Halfway down for $2,300. Right here. On your express copy.
Is that the straight salt stuff?
Do you want me to tell you what it's for?
Well, it's, yes.
Oh, it
Should be salt.
Well, on our salt and sand, just doing some quick numbers right now, we're probably about $14,000. We have $16,000 budgeted in that account. So, you know, and here we are. We need to decide whether we probably have enough to last us 2 more storms.
Yeah.
The big thing is, do we have more than 2 storms? Or, you know, you know what I mean, or what do we do? There's money in that line item, whether we want to save it, and at the end of the year, then it rolls back into the general highway fund. Salt's always cheaper this year than it is.
I know, but considering our budget situation, I don't know that the savings, I mean, if you could monetize those savings somehow, I mean, say it goes up $2 a ton.
Roughly, in years past, it's probably been 7 to 12.
per year, increases?
Per year.
Okay.
So, you know, we're talking an average load is 22 ton. You know, let's sort of say it goes up to that's $220. It's not a huge amount of money, but it is cheap. Most generally, if you can afford it, people fill their salt sheds now that have a covered storage facility, which we do.
And you're telling me that there really is no sublimation? I mean, the stuff doesn't
There's always a little bit.
evaporate,
But not a lot. But, you know, again, we're kind of cruising right on the line. And, you know, again, I don't see it month to month, so.
how full would you characterize the building right now?
I would say it's third full.
Okay.
Compared to what we usually keep in there. You know, that's in the winter months, you know what I mean? We're gonna be buying it in this calendar year. This calendar year, just not.
Right, fiscal year.
This
Fiscal year.
You know, and again, you know.
How's the rest of your budget?
Good question.
Because to me, that would be your answer, if you're looking for.
You know,
Sure.
you know the answer to that question before you asked it. That's kind of.
Well, I don't think you did.
No, I mean, I'm not,
Because
it wasn't a reflection on you, but I mean, if you know the ballpark, I mean,
But
you're
you know the
going to
answer.
get numbers.
We can't answer that question.
Well, this is pretty close, what I just gave you through February.
And I just got that, so.
And I just got that 10 minutes ago.
Right, so.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much all of it is, it's a crapshoot one way or the other anyway.
Well, you know, anything is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, I can certainly look at it. We don't need to buy it today. We can buy it at the end of next month. You know, and do a little math and see where we're at. You know, it's a gray area. I think we have enough to last us through the year.
We haven't, yeah. I mean,
How long do
we
you
haven't
have-
spent half of our budget yet.
But when would you have to make a decision?
Anytime. I can get solved in the middle of July.
Right,
They all-
in terms of pricing though, when is the price usually?
Oh, we're locked in until, I believe, April 1. And then they can renegotiate the price.
So we got to the,
We got some time. We're not in any big hurry, but.
but April 1's coming right up on us.
Right. If we get another storm, we won't be having this conversation.
Right.
You know, I'll order more.
Yeah.
I mean, we get another storm on the 15th of April, you know.
Right.
Maybe I'll be still gunshot, but, you know.
Okay. Well, I guess
No,
my feeling.
My only concern, Norm, is waiting until we get a final decision on the intersection project. I mean,
Well, you're right. Every penny is
Right.
will be going. So we can certainly wait. If that's something that we should think about and decide. You know, whether we're going to go ahead or we're not.
Well, again, just looking at it, we're doing fine because you held back on some of that highway stuff for the purpose of that. I mean, there's.
Oh, you're right.
I mean,
And-
you've used less than half of
And
the
that will be a great, that'll be a great little nest egg if that second,
If the second grant.
If the grant comes through,
Yeah.
you know, and then that's certainly monies that we can certainly use different.
the thing you have to bear in mind, though, all these sinking funds have not been applied, so there's another $47,000 or so
Oh, okay, right, good point.
that is already spent, essentially.
5, 6. The tractor has been, because we needed it, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So we're right
Okay.
where we should be.
So we trust that you'll get salt if you need it, and you won't if you don't? I think that's pretty much.
We should talk about it a little bit more.
Okay.
Because again, you know, I mean, it is good that, you know, like last year we had a big nest egg that rolled in and went to something else.
Right.
You know, but it's always cheaper this year than.
Yeah. I would, from my standpoint, and again, it's not my decision really, it's yours, but having some room under cover there in the summer, I don't know. There's any, doesn't really, you got plenty of other room.
Well, the only problem, you don't really put anything with that because just the
corrosive.
atmosphere, it's the salt, it'd be like, you know, it's not
Nothing
a
metal.
great spot to park anything that's really low.
Right.
Underneath.
That you really can't anyway, because if you have, even if you're only an H
Right,
full,
it's
you're not gonna
still-
put anything on top of this stuff.
No.
Right, I mean, we'll back the truck in there for a day, but there's a truck sitting in there right now, just to stay out of the weather, because the shop's full.
Okay.
So,
What else you got?
nothing really comes to mind this month as far as anything majorly catastrophe happened. You know, we did some plowing. That's no big secret. We started chipping some brush, started cleaning some DIs. Dealt with those. We're actually going through and we got a map that was produced through Mike Letts. Due diligence a couple years ago, and we're trying to improve on that and some modifications that we made. It's actually part of a grant system that we have to have it updated, our culverts and stuff like that every so often. So we're going around updating it. We're going to be doing a lot of brush cutting on Water Street because where it goes to the river. And I don't know how that always was, you know, 50 years ago, but it's pretty cruddy right now.
You talking between the road and the water?
The road and the river.
On the factory side?
Yes, and I don't know if you could ever see the river.
Well, that's something Janice brought up, right? I mean, it was something
Right,
she wanted to see.
we're not nowhere near going to that.
I got that.
We're only cleaning the spots where we're going to, where we have our outlets for our stormwater system.
Exactly.
And our stormwater systems they really are in need of a professional vacuum truck. And we've got a couple bids on those. And there's really only one company to deal with the sad part about it, but it's somebody that Ville Village has dealt with before, Bennington uses, and they're willing to give us a real good deal if we jump on the same time as when the guy sends his truck out. You know what I mean? It stays in this area. So, but that'll be in the next budget year, so we'll deal with that. But what we're doing is we're getting ready. So you see us out there, when you're driving by, please slow down. You see our lights again, we're only a small highway department. We don't have a lot of people to stay out there in traffic control.
So when you're talking about, like, how many feet on either side of a culvert?
You know, we're gonna clear out as far as some culvert, so someday if I gotta put my backhoe in there, I can do it.
Okay.
We're not sticking around anymore.
Don't worry about Shelley. I just want to warn you, I mean, just to go back to our experience with maybe the pesticide applications and not knowing exactly, we got a little bit of a spanking from the Department of whatever they are now. It's not the Natural Resources, but cutting too much vegetation along the edge of the river.
Oh, when you know, what we very much do is we do like a spearhead point where it's widest at the road, and we go on an angle to where the outlet of the culvert is. So to try to mitigate that.
Yeah.
You know, we've certainly took classes on that.
It's flat water there. It's not like it's, you know.
Right. But we have to do the right thing around the water. But what we are doing is we're going to clean that out enough so we can, you know, hopefully.
And those culverts don't go right to the river's edge anyway, do they?
Yeah, they go right into the river.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. So, you know, there's a few that we found that, you know, frankly, never really were there. We got, hopefully, going to try to schedule a meeting with the hangar. There's a ton of stuff that go right underneath their building, and, you know, there's one in their parking lot that's right full of dirt, right to the very top of the grade.
Is it possible there's some old culverts that come down from Park Street?
Anything's possible,
Like
sure.
all the way down?
And there's one in, just across from the hangar's building, there's a tree that has been uprooted. The concrete culvert that's coming around the ground has been an abandoned culvert. But there's another one right beside it that goes into the drop inlet and then goes across the street into the river. You know, it's your stormwater system, and you got to maintain it, or else it's not going to work when you need it. You know, when we have another Irene, and, you know, so if we jump on this bandwagon, we can get on it for a reasonable cost, and it's something that we really need to do.
Good.
So that's pretty much about it.
You want to update us at all on this Depot Street situation, or?
I do, but I really think we need to
It's
talk
legal.
about that later.
Okay.
Part of this meeting. There hasn't been much movement on that at all.
Okay.
So other than that,
I'd just like to add, last week you brought up the situation with the roof on the depot here.
Yes, I did.
that it's going to be a major expense?
Yes, it is.
Anyways, I was talking to Meg Campbell. She's the local representative for the Vermont Preservation Trust. She's very knowledgeable. She said that there are some grants out there. They're not as plentiful as they used to be. But she said, but the very first thing we should do is there's a grant. It's called the Robert Sincerbo grant that funds for having a restoration architect come and make an evaluation. She said you won't get any money until you do that.
Okay.
And those grants are available, and it's a 50% match. She said typically they're very reasonable. Mark Weisner she said they use him all the time, and she said typically it's like $500 and you get a couple $1,000 worth of work.
So he will do, he's licensed to do
the evaluation.
Okay.
So if the board approves, I'll contact Meg and she'll start making the arrangements for that.
That would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go, to at least, again, using the crawl, walk, run philosophy, because we need to spend the right dollars in the right place.
You know, and she said you just will not get the grant money unless you have a professional restoration architect evaluate it.
That's fine, it's good money. And we won't, and actually, the time for that assessment to be done is when you've got...
Well, and here's the, I guess...
It's not easy getting up there.
I'll have to talk to David and we'll see how this goes.
Timelines.
We have, our fire chief has graciously worked out something for a drill to get a platform truck over here so we can actually get up on the roof in a safe and secure manner, be able to take pictures and move around a little bit. So maybe at that point in time, maybe that architect needs to be here at the same time. I mean, pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Well, you have to have them. That's the other thing she said. You got to have good pictures of what the conditions are.
Right, so at least...
And she said the easiest grants to get are for roofs. Because they say, if you don't have a roof, forget the rest of the stuff you're doing.
Yeah,
well, and look at this structure. I mean, it meets the criteria for any number of...
You know, the next point is talking about this building. We talked about getting bids to paint and put up that picture bowling in the other room. We had 3 contractors and only one submitted a bid at the end of the day. You know, so I don't know what we want to do. You know, I'm very comfortable with the contractor that submitted the bid. So we have one, 3 of them were very interested. They came over, met with us, and looked at it. I've contacted the artist committee. Who's running it now?
I believe Joe Churchirillo now.
Yeah, Joe. And we spoke to him, and you know, and I didn't really want to jump in Joe's lap because he's just starting it. This is his first year. But again, there's some holes in that wall that you know we need to address. They haven't been patched. And I've also approached him about getting some art to leave in that room, so it's not so blank and dormant of white. And he's interested in looking at that, but you know, so I don't know if you want to look at the bid or what you want to do.
Should we maybe? I mean, today was the deadline on that.
Yes. The people at the time. I mean, the room needs to be repaired again, just like anything else. You know. I don't know. You know, you put that molding up, we'll never have a problem, ever. And it should be broken down into different aspects of the job, different phases of the job.
Well, just so you know, like I said to you, that they're going to need the option to move stuff around on that rail. They're going to need that, or it's going to be worthless.
Right, but that's what that rail is for.
I know.
But there has to be, you know, we put something here. The deals they slide on. I mean, you're going to have 2. Yeah. Like say 2 hangers in here. Yep. And that's it.
Yeah. All those are it's a clip-on system.
Right.
So the rail is up, and they can put your wire down, and it rests on like that, and they can move anywhere they want, anytime they want.
Right.
Well, do you want to look?
They can adjust height, adjust.
Do you want to look at that bid, understanding that maybe we're going to? I mean, with the understanding that we're not necessarily going to act on it immediately, or until we maybe hear.
Well, either way, Joe's pretty confident he's going to get us some art. We still need to hang it somewhere.
Yeah.
So either we need to bash another hole in our wall,
What happened to the other two that looked at it? They just weren't interested, or?
No, they all seem very interested, you know.
Well, do we give them one?
Would there be
chance to
any
submit?
extenuating circumstances that we could allow them to submit a bid before we look at any
You
of
know
them?
what, I mean, and that's up to the board's decision, but, you know, nobody called and said, hey, can I have another day? Nobody bothered to ask. So, I would say, you know, I don't think that's good.
What do you want to do?
So if we're not going to get any more bids, we might just as well. And if we think it's unreasonable.
If it's unreasonable, we can always
we reject
seek
it all.
out some more. All right, what do you got? And is this a modular system that they get? I mean, or is it,
I don't think it's modular.
they use what's called picture molding, I think.
Yeah,
and
it's
then-
probably like with molding. I mean, that's, our last person that we used to have do all the painting in here, that's the system that everybody was told that this is what we wanted to do. Because that's what he said works.
And is this just for the main room, or is this
No, just for that main room.
just main room?
Just one room to start.
Yep.
Crawl, walk around.
Yep.
Well, the picture molding part, labor and installation and materials is $875. But then the repainting, one coat of finish on the ceiling, it's another $475. Repair, repaint the walls. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need to start with, I know they're not going to want to hear it, but half of it now and half of it July 1 type of thing or something. I mean, just any money that we're putting in, we invested, I think, wisely into all that energy window stuff, only to find out a week later that we've got a massive roof problem.
Yeah, but I think that energy window stuff, because
Oh, that's gonna pay off.
Oh, yeah.
It's made a considerable difference on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, again, be curious to know what the heating numbers are for this building.
Well, can we, I don't want to make a decision on that tonight. I
You know,
want to
the
think
other thing
about
too
it.
is, when you talk to Joe, were they willing to help out with this at all?
You know, if we
Or
could,
did that not even,
No, I didn't get a warmer, but they were willing to help out with art. And, you know, and again, I don't think there's a big pile of money for them to.
they don't have anything.
I'm sure they don't.
To do. You know, that's why I think, you know, I honestly would suggest to put up the bowling, hang the art that Joe gets us, that, you know, we talked about that we would have for an extended amount of time, we really didn't. I'm thinking like a year. You know, I don't know what he's thinking, so, but we talked about an extended amount of time. It's not something that's gonna be in there for a week. And again, some pictures and some different things that they would, with our system, they would cover those holes, and then eventually we could get into, you know, doing the road. Now, again, it's broken up into different pieces.
Well, I like that. If the contractor's okay with that, I'd be willing to go ahead and approve the railing and hold off on painting.
Right, and they all knew that.
And repair.
This would-
Okay.
Okay,
this
that's
would be the
good.
way that this would be, you know.
Then,
So then we're sure we're not doing more damage to the wall.
because then you wonder too,
Right,
like, when we,
well, that's why, right, we're
this is just
stopped,
molding.
Right.
you know.
And the walls
That's
aren't as
molding,
pretty as they
and then
could
this
be,
is the
but it's going to be
stuff.
covered with paintings while they were in there, so.
Well, let's hope, I mean, Joe, he
That's
thought
the
he'd
wires.
get
you
some,
almost wonder if we go ahead and do this.
some arbor.
get the art, get the art.
Get that, yeah, they want to hang their stuff in there. Because we could also approach it that way. If we just get the molding put up, worry about fixing the wall and painting later, when they come in to do their art show, I mean, they could be responsible for providing just the clips and the wires to hang their art. I mean,
And they may have a means to access that kind of stuff in a way that,
The only thing I thought about getting the clips and stuff with us is, you know, dealing with the last thing, you know, how do I want to say it? Those are all the tools to succeed. We're not, you know what, we want you to come here, we want you to put some art in our building, we want people to see it because we want people to enjoy it. Here's all the tools, because now we paid $5,000 to refinish these floors, and some people that may not have the same outlook on life as I do are now setting ladders and leaning ladders up against the wall, because those things, those moldings are hot.
Yeah.
They're made to be that way. So I really think, you know, that's...
It is just, it's $185 for the whole additional, for the whole package.
That's why it's a done deal.
Doesn't mean we couldn't take some donations later from...
Bring your painting and have a nice day. I really think that we, again, maybe bring that money and put it in a kitty and donate it, or save it for getting the walls repainted, which drastically need.
So the idea would be eventually to get this done in the other rooms over there as well.
And that's through the whole building. You know, thing is, in here we don't have.
We're not going to use it in
that picture
here.
hangs and it stays there forever.
Oh, yeah.
When we repainted this room,
There's a big spot there.
it went right back there.
Yeah.
It's the same spot. You know.
All right. I would take a motion for the first phase of that, the full 875. Is that what it is?
So moved.
How do you feel?
A second. No, that makes sense.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that'll be done. Soup to nuts on that.
And then hopefully Joe will come up with some nice art.
Yep.
Hang it in the building, and when people use it, they won't look at a completely white room.
So that's that for highway?
I don't know about that. That's that for now.
Okay. I know we have a brief executive to talk about. Development review. Do we have anything?
It's a meeting next week, is it?
Actually, it's this week.
Or this week? That's
It's
right,
Thursday.
Thursday this week.
Well, that's a planning commission meeting.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Planning commission at 3. The only other thing about DRB is that I did receive this thing, you know, the state has changed its regulations on energy codes for construction, and it used to be just new construction, and now it's applying to renovations. For whatever that's worth, they make it very clear that there isn't any enforcement really available but that we would sure like everybody's cooperation, and, you know. So I forwarded that to our zoning administrator, who will let people know when they get a permit to do something, that there are codes they need to look up and follow. Fire department. Do I ask why the flag is at half-staff?
A fellow fireman from North Hoosick passed away
Yeah.
at a
Cottrell?
pretty young age, yeah,
Yep.
45.
Yep.
Very quick. Eddie's best friend, actually.
Oh, really?
They worked together a lot. It's
Oh.
really sad.
Water board. New business.
I've got some. And actually, it's kind of a question for Norm, because you know the system better. So I met with Jeff Metcalf, who is now, for those who don't know, Bennington Little League and North Shaft Little League are now one body. So it's kind of all under, so when kids now try out for Little League, if you live in North Bennington, Shaftesbury, or Bennington, you can play on any combination of any team. So it's no longer strictly North Bennington, Shaftesbury kids.
Nice.
Which should, yeah, it should be great. He was interested in how does the key system work for over there? Because he would really like to, during the season, the concession stand, the way they do things in Bennington is there is a person that pretty much runs that concession stand.
Yeah,
and
my
that's
daughter actually did one here.
and that's the only person that has a key to that other than the president of the league. I think currently the key that they give to coaches would work their storage shed, the concession and the bathrooms, is that
You know,
right? Or do you
you
not
really
know?
have to talk to Jamie about that question.
Jamie.
Johnson.
Jamie.
Oh, does he know, okay,
My master key opens that building,
yep,
and I gotta tell you, because I have to maintain some things in it, I'm not really not giving that up, you know, they'll have to.
oh, no.
That's fine.
They don't know, take that back, like, as far as the keys that he hands out.
Right.
When I spoke to him, he said
There's not
that he would
anything
give,
to get in.
yeah, he said that he would give keys to anybody in the village that needed to have them, but in terms of giving the keys out to his
Right,
coaches,
well, the one is being,
which is what I told him.
and our highway employees and our water employees have a key, because they.
Exactly,
want to
exactly, yes,
You know, Neil Kenyon, I'm sure has a key.
yep,
But, you know, other than that, I don't have anything to do with that. You know, I go over there and help when I'm asked, and
okay.
that's it.
So, yeah, it was just a matter of, because I don't know how that system is set, because I know we have different levels of keys, and my key opens all those, but I don't know what their keys open. He was just interested.
Your trustee key may open that door. You know,
Oh, they do.
You just have, okay, so that's where it is. And, you know, again, if we want to change that,
And again, he doesn't care that trustees have keys to that. He doesn't, what he's interested in is when he gives a key to his coaches,
He don't
he
want-
wants them to be able to get into there so they can maintain the field, into the bunker,
yeah.
and be able to open the bathrooms so that the families and kids can use the bathrooms. He does not want them
In the
to
concession.
have a key to the concession.
Yeah, that bunker, that concrete bunker thing,
Yep.
believe me, there's a key hanging inside the first door, so.
That was, I think, that may have been the old system though.
Okay, well, I don't think I changed that, because I got no reason to get in there. But I know I probably have a key with my pickups for that.
Okay. I have an old set of keys that used to go to all those, so I'll check out what the key system is over there right now.
Sure.
If there's
And
any
then it could be
changes you
just a
need to
matter
make them.
And we go through Adam's lock.
Yeah.
Yes.
They know that whole system, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll get some pricing on it too, because the other thing, and I know we can't answer at this meeting, was just the most immediate need right now for over there, that field is basically unplayable. It just hasn't been taken care of in years, and it's at the point where they really can't safely play on it. So they're looking into getting some money. I think they're gonna go to the Lions. I told them that whatever I could make available from Parks and Rec, we would work together just to get that infield, just the infield kind of leveled out.
Right over here we're
and-
talking.
And playable, yes, right here. So I just need, I guess I'd probably have to call Gail to find out. I know there's still money that was earmarked just for, I just don't know what it is anymore.
Oh,
And I know
okay.
Jamie's gonna, yeah. So between his resources, what he can drum up from other agencies, what we have left from the initial fundraising and whatever's left in that other account, initially, we're hoping to save that for doing some shrubs and some kind of cosmetic things, but I think right now we need to kind of refocus and take care of the infield, and then maybe some of our Park and Rec fund will go towards the
That's fine.
plantings
I
that
do
need to be done.
recall that the plants were an important part of the discussion with the neighbor though, right?
Yes, yes, and again, that's not, I mean, not to say we're not gonna do that, I just think we're gonna have to refocus, because
Okay.
ideally, that gets started in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then it has a chance. He said, the nice thing about the new setup too is he can actually avoid scheduling games there until it's perfect. Because now he's working with
More.
the Bennington fields, the Shasberry fields, and the North Bennington field. So he can schedule in a way where he can let that set and get to where it needs to be.
Good.
But obviously the sooner the better. So I'll find that out, and I'll go kind of investigate a little bit with my keys to see what does what. But again, using my AA key, if it opens everything, I'm not gonna know what the next level down opens.
Yeah, you know, well, and Adams could answer that question. You know, I used to have a paper through the years.
Okay, I'll stop at Adams and find out.
It's lost, and because there's quite a few levels
Yep.
in those keys.
I have a 3 that gets me in half this building, for whatever reason.
Yeah, but
Once
you
I know
give
that-
your key to other people, and then you never get it back anymore. Just take a key that I have.
I have never taken a key from you.
You've been
Ever.
penalized, and you will stay that way.
Never have I taken a key from you.
So anyway, I'll look into those, then I'll get a hold of Adams Lock, and I'll let you know anything else that comes up with what we're gonna do over there. But some of the interest was impossible. I don't know what we can do to help out, to keep costs down and helping with the
I
infield.
mean,
But
just
I
like
said,
anything, we would do whatever, we trade with our other villages and towns around
Yep.
to get some powers and out there, you know.
For the field, you mean, for that?
yes, just to, you know, because a lot of the cost is excavating.
You know, he certainly, if he wants to, you know, meet his colleague, we'll go there and we'll look at the scope and say, okay, we got a lot of friends around.
Yeah.
You know, the village has a lot more friends than they used to have. So they-
That's right.
Sounds good. All right, so I'll touch base with you on that.
Do you have any new, other than
Just that I'm going to miss the next meeting, so could you put on the agenda that we make the appointees to the Planning Commission and the Development Review Board? That's a April task. And I think there's 3 on the Planning Commission.
I think
And
it's right in the, I can grab it right.
We've got it.
Yeah, right, and there's 2 on the Development Review Board, so next meeting we make after the annual meeting.
Yep. All right, well, the only other new business here is, and I skipped a month on this and didn't know where you were at, but are we having
This is a public meeting.
a public meeting on the West Street traffic speed limit situation? And so what I've heard coming back is that I know that there's been some people on West Street that have a concern about that, and I've had people come at me from both directions telling me, one, the shrubs are too big and they can be made smaller, and 2, the shrubs are fine. What you really got to do is just move further. You got to nose out further. I think it's a little bit of both. The shrub on the southeast corner of that building as opposed to the northeast are very different sizes, and so proportionally I do think that there could be some discussion about that. I don't know that it's any less safe to do, you know, it's just not a good corner.
No.
So other than that, that's what I know. What happened? You guys looked at it?
Well, it was that and the speed limit.
Right. And unfortunately, Janice was going to do some, according to the minutes, do some work on looking at various speed limits. What is it currently, 35?
I think it's 30.
I think it's 30, yeah.
And their request was maybe to consider 25?
I mean, my feeling on that, all these small, I mean, that's such a short stretch of road, and anything inside the village, at 25 would be so much easier to just make a universal.
Oh, Janice was gonna go around.
Yeah.
And perhaps
She
we
was,
should.
and that does make sense.
April.
Exactly, so let's wait till April on that.
Yeah.
My other thought is, and I know Norm has poo-pooed the idea, but I think that if there were stripes on West Street, it would make people feel a little more, I mean, like right now, there's no center line. I just go right down, blast right through the middle and feel safe because you've got a lot of distance between you and any cars on either side. But if we did paint that, plus with the parking that's allowed in certain parts of that, I think it would make people feel a little, I think it'd make them slow down a little bit.
You're talking to the wrong guy that's got a problem with painting.
Oh, okay.
This whole village needs to be painted. You can't afford it.
Well, I know that, too.
So, you know, there's your problem. You can't afford to get a truck in here to paint 100 feet of street and leave.
Right.
We need to paint the village. And it's been brought up, Mr. Corey's brought it to me a couple times. And he's right. It needs to be painted. Mechanic Street needs to be painted. There's almost every street we have here needs to be painted.
Well, is there no other means? I guess you know, you're not going to be walking behind your spray cart walking up the street with that.
It would never be right.
Right. It looked like this bridge over here on the highway.
Right. You know, we can certainly have a contractor come down here, but it's in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $8,000.
All right.
I mean, there's a reason that this village was never painted. You know, it's some serious money. You know, I absolutely agree. You know, you talk about, you know, that intersection, that sidewalk, it can't be moved. Okay, first of all, there's a book that's this thick that I have in my office. I'm more than happy to sit there and watch you try to read it, because you're not going to take it from me because it's a lot of money. And there's setbacks for crosswalks and intersections, and it's unfortunate that it's the law. We are absolutely not going to move that crosswalk to a spot where that crosswalk is not supposed to be and put residents in jeopardy.
And which you shouldn't have to, because the way you drive it, you pull up to the stop line. As long as there's nobody crossing the crosswalk, you then inch up to where you're not impeding traffic this way, and then you look. And if you do that, I actually did it before the meeting today.
You know, to
get past the shrubs. So you pull up to the sidewalk, you stop at the stop line. Then, once you look both ways, there's nobody in the crosswalk, you pull onto the side. It's perfectly okay to pull over the sidewalk and stop there to look again. If nobody's coming, you go. Right. And it really.
But you got to stop twice.
Yes.
And it's still a gauntlet.
Yeah, you could use, and I looked at the shrub again too. I don't think it would look all that bad if it were a uniform shrub. If they cut those shrubs uniform, you don't have to get rid of that corner shrub.
No.
If you cut it uniform to what the others are, you're increasing 2 feet of.
But it still is at this angle. It's not helping you. It's not helping you get up the street that much more.
It's not the ideal, but you'd be able to see a little more when you actually.
You'd feel more comfortable. You'd feel more comfortable back here, which means it's going to take you more time from that point to get across, which is less safe than inching up.
Because it really only helps you your line of sight here. Once you get onto the sidewalk, it's no longer even.
Your next solution. You know, and I understand that they're manicured, they're very nice. You'll never trim that back to make them match the others without making that thing look like it's been horribly molested. And you know, so where do you go? Who wants what to aesthetic? I mean, it looks nice again. The sidewalk's where it has to be. It's where it legally has to be. We can invest an astronomical amount of money and put our traffic light in the center of the village.
No.
We'd like to have that.
You could make it a one-way street.
Going up the hill.
Going up the hill.
But they'd love that, wouldn't they? It'd be a safer way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, that would happen. Yes,
you have plenty of
wide one-way street, but yes,
you have plenty of parking.
Yeah, plenty of parking. You know, and
it sounds like what we should be suggesting is that there's nothing that really in our toolbox that we can do with the crosswalk or the sign, and that the individuals who are concerned probably need to come to address the library directly. If they want to have a meeting with the library and say, look, that's.
And I'm sure that you would direct me to go say, if the library decided to plant another bush, help them remove that.
Oh, sure.
Do whatever we could in our power to assist them.
Could you trim that back? It would only look bad for a stretch, and then
no, those conifers like that would not fill in.
It's considerably bigger. It's a third. It's at least a third.
If you take a third of it away, it's going to be
and it'll never kind of
a Charlie Brown tree. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like a privet.
Privet will do like the one you were messing with. You can do anything to that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even telling them to cut their bush.
No, I know.
But you know, we've started considerable trimming last year, moving our hedges back in our park. I mean, they look pretty sad for a little while, but you know, they're going back again this year. You know, because they're too big for years.
Okay.
The village is.
Well, my apologies to Doris when we've tried to address her concern, and that, you know, I think I think the answer is you just got to be careful, and you got to inch out there.
Right. You know what, and I know.
Or go the other way.
I know whoever has a concern in this, and it's not the solution, but if you feel safely that you don't want to negotiate that corner, you're right, go up the hill.
That's the way I treat it. I treat it as a one-way street. I very rarely come down it. I go up the lot.
Or go down Park Street, you know, whatever. There's a couple other solutions there.
And if you're turning right there, it's a little easier. You've got that wide lane, slip lane almost, that you can do. But if you know you're going to be going uphill, uptown, and you've dropped off somebody at the school, then go back around Church Street. I mean, and School Street. So, all right, we're done with that for now. But we will, I think that because there was citizen concern, I do want to address the speed limit issues village-wide. And just so that we don't have, you know, let's get let's get all on the same page. I mean, there's no reason that Houghton Street would be different than West Street, that'd be different than school, that would be different than church.
You know, I don't know why those streets were set, that stuff was done
I know.
before me. But understand that every sign is 70, 80 bucks.
That's what I was gonna ask you, if we set a village.
Couple bucks for the hardware.
If you set a village speed
If you
limit,
set a village speed limit.
you can put a sign at the edge of town.
If it's posted at the village limits, do you have to then post on individual
I
streets
have to look in my big,
We'll
big
check.
book
and find it?
and
I think-
I'm sure it's there.
You've got a month.
And the only reason those signs are there, I mean, it's,
You're gonna have to remind me of that one, because that's not gonna be a big
That's not gonna
priority.
be Okay. Well, when I'm checking out the keys, I'll run that by you too.
Yeah, definitely, you know,
Eh.
'cause it's, you know, yeah, I guess you could. And then there's a whole other with, you know, making sure, so the Bennington police can then ticket.
well, that's right.
And, you know, it's like when we put up, the stop signs on the top of, Prospect Street, when we were doing the bridge job.
Yeah.
They could write tickets, but because it was in a weird ordinance, and the village didn't receive the money for those tickets, you know, so I gotta make sure that, you know, it's not a, hey, let's take the speed limit, let's write, you know, go out and spray paint 2 and 5 on the sign and say, this is good enough.
No, you gotta, it's gotta be all.
Maybe with their signs we can send out.
You'd have a warning village-wide that this is a change in the whole
Right, I
zone,
think there's more than that.
in the whole ordinance.
I think there's more than that with the police department.
Okay.
I don't think it's ridiculous, but I think
Okay.
it's more than that warning.
We'll find out.
Can't hurt to check.
Old business. Anything old?
The only thing I got is on the intersection project, they're supposed to have decided on this last round of grants by the middle of March, so I'm gonna start calling everybody tomorrow and see them. As soon as we get word, then we wanna put in the bid package, which is all set to go. All we have to do
Right.
is put the dates on it.
So maybe we'll hear by the end of the week or something.
I'm hoping we will, and I'll just keep, Tim Corcoran is on the committee, so he may be able to tell us,
Junior?
yeah.
That's right, last time, that's why,
Yeah.
I know Tim Senior called us, congratulations on that last one. Okay, we do have a short executive session for personnel, and I will seek.
I will make that motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.